Hello to all of you. Well, it's from a beautiful, beautiful Seychelles here in the Indian Ocean that I'm coming to you live for another Wealth Insight. I thought it was an absolute picturesque setting. You can see the beautiful houses here on this magnificent island. And really for me, it's such a beautiful place to be able to do a Wealth Insight, and it really epitomizes wealthy and the way the wealth think and the action they take. And today's Wealth Insight that I want to share with you was about thinking out the box. It was about doing things differently. It was about doing what other people do. And there's a beautiful metaphor which a gentleman called Willem van der Post, who I highly recommend you go and look up, told us about at an event that we held together last year. And he said, think about it like the wildebeest running on the plains of Africa, and they're all standing together, and suddenly a fly comes down and bites the one wildebeest on the bum, and it goes, ow, and it suddenly runs off. And the guy sitting next to him goes, where'd my mate just go running? And he suddenly runs off after that wildebeest, and the one next to him goes, where are they going? And he runs off after them, and before you know it, the entire herd of wildebeest are charging across the savannah, and no one actually knows why they're running. And that's really what happens in markets when people are following the crowd, and right at the moment it's happening in the crypto market. So how do the wealthy do it differently? Well, they do the complete opposite of what everyone else is doing. Warren Buffett says, when there's blood on the streets, get active. And George Soros is exactly the same. The people that have made the most money in the world are the people that have invested when everyone else was doing the opposite. There's a wonderful story that when Japan was bombed, and I'll have to think of the guy's name, I'll put the link down below, I can't think of it off the top of my head, went and, he's probably one of the most recognized investors of the 20th century, went and invested, in Japan. He did it in the 70s in the Philippines when they were bombed, and he's done it over and over again. So while there were disasters happening, everyone else ran away, and he went in and invested and created some of the biggest wealth on the planet. Here in the Seychelles is interesting, and the reason why this ties in with where I'm at is that some people think of the Seychelles and all they think of is a tropical island, or they think of money laundering, and yet some of the wealthiest people are here. There's over 75,000 businesses registered out of here. It's got one of the top 15 exchanges in the world. There's an amazing gentleman who I'll interview today called Ed, who's an Australian, one of the world authorities on exchanges, and he's here, and he explains why he's here. And it just really reminded me of how generally wealthy people are doing the opposite of what everyone else thinks. Everyone else is going to school, going to university, getting a good job, trying to invest, paying their taxes, saving for retirement, and trying to have a good life. The wealthy are doing it differently. They look at the world differently. If there's a box, they're outside that box. If there's a norm, they do it differently. And most importantly, my question to you is, what do you need to do differently? What assumptions do you need to challenge? What rules do you need to challenge? My father taught me, and I really entrenched this not only in myself, but in my 5-year-old son, Jonty. Rules are for other people. Who said that the rules are right? I tend to, when people say, no, but those are the rules, I say to them, well, okay. But the people that made the rules said the world was flat. The people that made the rules said that we couldn't fly, we couldn't go to the moon, that Africans couldn't vote, that women couldn't vote. Who says that the rules are right? I believe that you need to follow the laws of nature. And if you follow the laws of nature, you will find your true genius. You will uncover your destiny. And so that's this Wealth Insight coming live here. And I really, really encourage you to think out the box, to do what's different, to not follow the crowd. And I believe then you'll find the life and create the life that you want for you in your life. If this is of value to you, as always, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you've got any questions for me, hashtag #AskGodAnything. But most importantly, we want to change the world. We want to empower 1 billion people. And we can only do that if we work together to make it happen. I want to share one last story. You should be able to see the windmills that are over there. And the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi owns a property here. It's 5,000 square meters, which is 50,000 square feet. And he donated those windmills to the Seychelles. And he too owns an island here. This island of Eden has got some of the wealthiest people from all over the world that come here to do business and to have a holiday. And the last thought I'll give you, I'm here with my wife and my son. I'm working, but I'm also on holiday. My uncle taught me when I was in my teenage years, create a life where you go on holiday every single day and you get paid. Now that's truly thinking out of the box. How are you going to make that happen for you and your family? Cheers.